Hello and congratulations. If you're watching this video, it's because you're working on your application to become a student teacher. That's a super exciting milestone in your journey to becoming a professional licensed teacher. So congratulations. My name is Jacqui Guthrie. I'm an assistant director in the Academic and Career Advising Center here at UW-Stevens Point. I'm preparing just a brief recording on how to create your teaching candidate resume. There are some unique directions about making this particular resume, and it can be a little bit intimidating. So I hope you find this video helpful. First things first, we want to strongly encourage you to tightly adhere to the Office of Field Experience guide for making this resume that is before you on my screen. You'll probably never use the same resume for any other purpose other than applying to become a student teacher. When you apply for professional jobs later on WeCan or other application sites, the resume that we would encourage you to submit will look very different. But for this particular purpose, it's important that all of the resumes are uniform and that you include all sections that are recommended. Next, I'll say that the template can be really intimidating. So if it were me, I would need to grab a water bottle, a snack, go in a quiet place with my fully charged laptop, take a few deep breaths, and just start at the beginning. And that's how I'm going to walk through it for you today. So you want to start with a new Microsoft Word document. So if you open up Microsoft Word and hit File, New, you can open up a blank document. Next, you need to save the file using this naming convention. So it's your last name, comma, first initial, underscore TC resume. That needs to be the name of the file that you submit. Next, I want to encourage you to add your header. If you haven't ever done this before using Microsoft Word, you can go to Insert and you'll find Header. And then you can left align your document title, and on the right alignment, the month and the year. Next, we're just going to walk through what needs to be on the document under the header step by step. So I hope a bolded first and last name, along with both your local address and, if other different than your permanent address, also your permanent address on either side under your name and email. Under that section, you're going to be asked to include all license codes. It's important that you list any and all that you are going to be obtaining, regardless of whether or not they have already been obtained, if that makes sense. So anything that you are striving for should be included. They want you to list these one by one using the codes and the descriptions, just as the sample shows. Next, you can list your education, including your teaching major, your teaching minor, your high school. If you have earned a degree from another institution before attending UWSP, you should add it where indicated. Next, you're going to list the courses by description, not by code. So instead of Math 255, you would say mathematical statistics, etc., etc. You should include every course listed under your major and your minor, even if they repeat. This is important. And if you have a sequence of classes associated with your degree, like Math for Teachers 1, 2, and 3, you can list them all in one line. You do not have to list Math for Teachers 1, new line Math for Teachers 2, new line Math for Teachers 3. You can list them all together in one line. Next, they want you to include your classroom practicum experience. You should list them in reverse chronological order, so the most recent first. and include what you know you are expecting to do in your current semester. They show you a standard way that you can record these experiences here. Do not list hours that you spent observing, only practical experiences where you were doing hands-on work. Next, you can list any and all teaching-related experience. So if you were a summer camp counselor, if you taught religious classes at your local parish, if you babysat as a younger kid, or today if you are an active babysitter, anything and everything where you are supervising the safe learning or play of kids or adults should be listed there. You can see how the header repeats. Next, you can list any awards and activities. So if you've been on the dean's list, if you have received a departmental award or scholarship, that can be all listed there. Next, other work experiences. Don't be shy about listing things here. When I was a high school student, I worked at a brewery, I worked at Pizza Hut, I developed pictures back in the day when photo development was a thing at the local Target. Go ahead and list any and all work experience or that you have. It's important because it demonstrates, we hope, reliability, task management, following directions, some of those other markers of a mature professional that you will have gained through those experiences. So it's important to list them there. Next, and this is important, list the names and titles of 3 references that will be able to speak to your potential as a student teacher. 2 of them must be UWSP instructors. It's appropriate for you to ask them which contact information they prefer for you to use, and it's always a good practice in this and in other situations to make sure that it's okay, that they would be able to offer a positive reference for you before listing them and submitting this document. Next, and this is one I hope you think on a little bit, describe yourself as a pre-service teacher candidate. What strength will you bring to the student teaching experience? Another way of asking this question is, what calls you to teach and what makes your candidacy unique? Why would a school district want to hire you and help you prepare for this role? Again, it's limited to 200 words. So I hope you'll brainstorm that, have a friend read through it and offer you feedback. Visit the Writing Center. It's important that you stand out in this area and that your statement is crisp and succinct and speaks to the value that you bring to the profession. There is a request that if you plan to work during student teaching, you indicate here. Any special accommodations you are welcome to include. And then this is really important. In order for UW-Stevens Point Office of Field Experience to be able to share your resume with school districts that might choose to have you, you need to include this statement written verbatim. I affirm that the information provided, etc., etc. You need to include this statement, and then you need to type your name and type the date in lieu of a signature. Once you're done with the Word document, again, I recommend sharing it with others for proofreading, coming back to it the next day, proofreading it yourself, and then ultimately, it's important that you save the file as a PDF using File, Save As. You should have a PDF option within File Type, as I do here. I'll back out of this. Save it as a PDF. It should have that same naming convention as a PDF. That is what you will upload to the School of Education. Voila! Those are my tips for today. We hope that you are given some peace of mind through receiving these tips, and we wish you the best as you work on this important document for this next step in your educational journey.